Welcome to the Arianne Kamp Show. I am Arianne Kamp, and we have some very exciting things happening tonight. I might inform you. All related, actually, towards the presidential 2004 very exciting big election. We have a very special guest on the show. Oh, yes. Here we have the presidents all behind me. All of the... Who is going to be the next president of the United States? Next caption is maybe the next president, or maybe not. Okay, well, so we're in the studio. I'm going to sit down. It's very exhausting putting on this whole show by myself without any gracious donators and benefactors. Oh, except for possibly the next president of the United States, if the Supreme Court decides, Arnold Schwarzenegger. There he is. Actually, he's right behind me there. Very exciting. Our California governor. So, a few little tidbits. Okay. Anyone seen the Lakers recently? Okay, go Lakers. They're actually kicking a lot of serious butt. This is very good. They're excellent Laker people. And moving on, very interesting. Oh yes, the much larger Asian dude looks like he's going to be harming one of our Lakers. But not to worry. It's the Japanese are getting bigger and bigger and stronger. But fortunately, we still have the Lakers, and they're pretty big and strong themselves. So, a little tidbit in the news. Actually, here, the famous Montebello woman. What will happen to her? What will happen? She apparently she poisoned her husband with in his Gatorade. She poured some lube fuel or something like that in his Gatorade. Not very tasty. So she could get the insurance money. Which leads me to our guest for a future show. Actually, not our guest right now. Future show. A fantastic attorney. He's going to be on the show with us talking about his new book about prenuptial agreements. I do, we do, sign on the dotted line. And it's going to be released very soon. He's going to be a fantastic guest with us in our next episode. But today, we are focused not on prenuptial agreements, but on something a little more, probably not as interesting, but it is the presidential election and all of the fantastic things going on in Washington, which leads to not only the genius of Jon Stewart, Jay Leno, David Letterman, gives them fuel for creativity. It also gives our guest here today, Elizabeth Croydon, who was recently seen on The Tonight Show, who has a new film being released called Washington Interns Gone Bad. I don't think that she knew Monica Lewinsky, but probably if she knew her, they probably wouldn't be friends. Or maybe they would. We don't know. So we're going to go ahead and, let's see, do a little intro first. Armand, should we have the clip first or have her come on? We're going to roll the clip so you can all see the genius of this woman, our next guest.
In a world where politics as usual can be deadly. In a world where politics as usual can be sexy. In a world where politics as usual is anything but. In a world where Washington interns go bad. Washington Interns Gone Bad.
And we're back. We are with Elizabeth Croydon. She is the creator of the clip we just saw. And Elizabeth, it's great to have you here.
Thank you. It's really good to be here, Dagmar. I'm thrilled. But I can't take the credit entirely. The movie, Washington Interns Gone Bad, can be found on the web at WashingtonInternsGoneBad.com. I produced and starred in the film, influenced the script and various people behind the screen, and I'm just happy that it's getting out and getting to the public, and thanks for being a part of it.
Oh, my pleasure. I wanted to, because it sounds like it's a funny and sarcastic, it has a very strong message. And do you want to talk a little bit about like what inspired your producing this film?
Oh, sure. It's a political parody on corruption, and if Monica Lewinsky and I had met, we would have partied together in the kind of town that does not get down. Unlike L.A., we in Washington, D.C., which is my hometown, D.C. stands for duck and cover, we in Washington, D.C. are not blessed with your hot babe coming in from the surf with broad shoulders, ready to schmooze and romance a young lady. We at Washington, D.C. are cursed with power-hungry mongrels that come to our
city.
Elizabeth? Oh, I'm sorry. Am I getting a little too serious? I didn't
No,
mean to get...
I just wasn't totally following you there.
There's a big difference between power-hungry mongrels in suits that wear thick amounts of deodorant and sweat a lot while lobbying for multi-conglomerates that take away citizens' rights, and your basic surfer dude who goes around shirtless in the name of world peace with the surfboard tucked under one arm on his bike in Venice, which is where I live now.
So does the deodorant have anything to do with the negative appeal, or?
Well, I don't know. How do you feel about deodorant? Like, if I'm making love with a man and, like, he is using a deodorant that does not have any toxins and does not eventually cause cancer or has the potential to add to the risk of cancer, and I smell his armpit, I'm getting, like, a whole human stench with, like, mixed with, like, a little bit of salt and a little bit of, you know, clarity. But if he's mopping on this disgusting deodorant so that he doesn't smell for, like, our date, and I go to do the test, you know, maybe I lean in on his vest to get his handkerchief or something.
I get the idea. I like a little bit of deodorant. Can we do that clip again? Can we show the Washington Intern clip again?
In a world where politics as usual can be deadly. In a world where politics as usual can be sexy. In a world where politics as usual is anything but. In a world where Washington interns go bad. Washington Interns Gone Bad.
And that's great. We're with Elizabeth Curtin, producer of Washington Interns Gone Bad. And Elizabeth, wanted to ask you another question.
Yeah.
Anecdotes, funny things that happened on the set.
Okay.
Anything?
Totally. All right. Another time I have to come on your show and read your cards. I'm a clairvoyant, and I used to read tarot cards for a 1-900 number. So I read this book, which is really good for LA actors, called The Actor is Shaman. I highly recommend it. And I wound up channeling Dennis Hopper on set. We wound up developing the character of Elizabeth. Jason Buckley named it after me after writing it for me. And I'm supposed to snort cocaine because she's a coke and Ritalin Democrat who's gone to the dark side. And we didn't want to, you know, snort cocaine, or someone couldn't afford it, or actually I don't do drugs.
Okay.
But
you're channeling Dennis Hopper on the set.
I'm channeling Dennis Hopper, and they're telling me not to snort this. Well, first we got stunt coke, that got ruined, and then we got some mysterious powder. And I got so hyped up prior to the coke snorting scene that when I looked down in the mirror it was not me who was looking up at myself. I swear to you, Dagmar, I saw the eyes of Dennis Hopper, and I snorted the entire line. Now, I don't know if Dennis Hopper has ever snorted coke, but I know that the steely blue eyes that were in my mirror do not belong to this green-eyed, lovely lady right before you. So, and then shortly after I kept
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, a little word for wise. No mysterious white stuff on the set.
Yeah, or to channel, you know, someone who's, I don't know, channeling Dennis Hopper was cool. And then we found the remains of Chandra Levy shortly after we shot the film. Not us, it was not like a Blair Witch experience, but right after we were done shooting the film, Chandra Levy's body was dug up, which we found to be really quite wacky in a bizarre sort of timely way.
Wow,
that gets like totally macabre. Yeah, I don't know if we want to go there.
Okay. Well, here, look, this is very exciting. This is actually a gift.
Yeah.
From Elizabeth.
This is.
Can we get? No. It's a mouse pad. It's a mouse pad. Washington Interns Gone Baghdad, and this is the sequel.
Yes.
But there's going to be no burial, no proper burial of Chandra Levy. But
no, I don't think that you can properly bury Chandra Levy because she's gotten buried in the media so badly from all of the bombing in Baghdad, etc. By the way, Washington Interns Gone Baghdad has a catch slogan, and that is, "What would Jesus bomb?" What would Jesus bomb? He would bomb the stage with terribly bad jokes, but I intend to bomb the screen with a lot of pokes at world peace. Washington Interns Gone Baghdad will be my directorial debut. We'll be casting here in LA and Washington, D.C., and it is my tribute to not only just world peace, but every R-rated movie that I was not allowed to see and gratuitous breast shots everywhere.
Wow, I'm really excited to see that.
Yeah, and to be in it, I hope. I'll be writing a part for you, and the script will be done, and we'll be shooting by the time this airs.
Another note to the wise, make sure when you have your own TV show, you invite people that you want to work with, because then they might give you jobs. Not always. They might laugh at you, spit at you. They might ask you things like... Anyway, we're moving on here. This is Elizabeth Curtin. I'm very happy to have her on the show with us.
It's cool to be here.
Let's see, any other things we would want to mention about the first one? Now, did you know that you were going to make a sequel to it, or was it because it was the popularity?
Yes. When Jason showed me the script, I was originally working on a Shakespearean feature film, and when Jason showed me the script, I thought that what he had written demonstrated such an innate sense of comedy that I had to do it. And not only did I have to do it, I had to buy the rights to my character and the rights to the sequels. Hopefully this will be a trilogy, because all good things come in 3. And 3 is not just a number, it's also a letter for world peace. What would Jesus bomb? What would he bomb?
I like that. I don't know if he would bomb anything, but...
I don't think he would,
I guess
really.
There's always some...
He may be a bad comedian, in which case, he'd have to be crucified for a second time.
An alliteration. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Beyond that. No, I just think, along the same lines as David Thompson, the writer for The Guardian in England, and longtime film critic, author of the bibliography of Who's Who in Hollywood and filmmaking. David Thompson wrote this scathing letter about directors and the film industry in America not taking the risks necessary to put themselves on the edge of political parody. In fact, he called us a bunch of humorless blokes that sell out to political propaganda. But I don't think that's the truth, dude. I don't think that's the case at all.
You find that there's a lot of opposition to your comedy because you're a woman.
Oof. Well, yeah, I'd say that, the tits and the wits don't always go together. But 2 + 2 = 4, and a 5 will get you 10 if you know how to work it, in the mighty words of Mae West. And I do believe that women and comedy go together. However, I have come across, some obstacles here and there, but that's what makes a person stronger, and all the better for the wear. And once again, WashingtonInternsGoneBad.com, you can see Ms. Smith goes to Washington and makes things right.
Okay, a couple more questions.
Please.
I was really curious to know, because I know you're from Washington originally.
Yeah.
And so your family's involved in politics there. And so I think it's a, so you have it in your blood.
Yeah.
It's something that you want to continue.
My father works for the Department of Labor, and he is a lawyer, and he works for Americans with disabilities in every angle. Being a longtime person with multiple sclerosis, he installed a great sense of justice in my mind, and a great sense of bureaucracy as well. So I took those two things and put them together, and hopefully I'll be able to tell how much I love my father, how much I love this world, and how much I love really bad, cheesy comedies.
Okay, here's a picture. I have another picture, actually. This is actually, I grew up involved in government in New York, and this is actually me there.
Awesome.
What? I'm showing you this. I'm breaking up.
Where are you? That looks like a cathedral.
This is the Senate of the New York State, where I worked.
Wow. Who was in charge of the Senate?
I like that. I was a legislative intern.
Wow.
I was actually an intern.
Wow. That is hot.
Yeah. So that's why
So what was it like being an intern?
I enjoy your movies more.
Thank you, Dagmar.
Because I converted.
Thank you, Arianne.
I didn't want to do politics.
Did you have a problem being an intern? Were you harassed? Was
no,
it like being on the lower level of the totem pole? Did you spend a lot of time getting lattes? I understand it's very heavy
No, it was actually nothing like that. It was nothing along those lines, except that at that time there was a lot of harassment legislation, and a lot of the male senators didn't really know how to approach that.
Were you offered any
And
cigars?
a lot of it was, based on technical, literal, what's the definition of harassment, and what's the definition of
It gets very slippery
difficult.
there. Do it keepeth thou from wilting shall be the loophole in the law, is what we like to say around Washington, D.C. It does get slippery, which is why we prefer our appetites wet when it comes to being politically erect. I like to get a firm handle on my politics before I go out and cast my vote. Okay. And I certainly hope that every other responsible American who wants to see our country thrive would take a politically erect attitude as well. P-E instead of P-R. Political rage.
Yeah, that's, okay. Great. I am happy about that. Okay, well, we're gonna show the clip again. Can we show the clip again?
Hey, that'd be great.
Interns Gone Bad.
In a world where politics as usual can be deadly. In a world where politics as usual can be sexy. In a world where politics as usual is anything but. In a world where Washington interns go bad. Washington interns gone bad.
Okay, well, we're back with Elizabeth Croydon. And this is a very fascinating sort of new developmental interview that we're having. And now, when Washington interns go bad, aren't they already somehow bad to begin with? I mean, aren't they somehow predisposed to, with all the excitement and power and everything going on in Washington, aren't they already bad?
Well, then you have to ask yourself. You have to ask yourself the Lord of the Rings question. Was Sméagol bad? Was Sméagol as a hobbit bad? Nay. I say nay. I say Sméagol was someone who was good, who was looking to get power for himself in order to better the world of Hobbiton. He had no intentions of hooking up with the Dark Lord or Mordor or any corridor in the Senate these days, nay, sir, nay. I think interns come to Washington with the idea that they are going to make a difference, just like your average Dorothy or Doris Day comes to Hollywood with the idea that they are going to make it really big. And then they get hit with the reality that there are plenty of other people with swords, weaponry, wit, and plans to do the same as they or not.
Right, it's like a Legally Blonde kind of.
Right.
And now, okay, get it.
So they hit the crossroads of corruption, and then it becomes, you know, a fight for good and bad, good and evil. You know, Star Wars versus Star Wars, I guess.
Well, I am really looking forward to watching this movie. And
thank you.
And now, when can I see this movie?
Washington Interns Gone Bad or Gone Baghdad.
Okay. I can
Washington
see both of them.
Interns Gone Bad is available for sale in DVD form.
What? Yeah.
Or
contact me, and I can relay the message to Elizabeth.
yeah.
So,
Or you know, go to Slack.
let's run that clip one more time. We're gonna run the clip one more time, and when we come back, we're gonna have some closing remarks.
Great.
And that's
Awesome.
In a world where politics as usual can be deadly. In a world where politics as usual can be sexy. In a world where politics as usual is anything but. In a world where Washington interns go bad. Washington Interns Gone Bad.
And we're back. We're going to actually close the show, and I wanted to thank Elizabeth very much for coming onto the show.
My pleasure.
A good friend of mine, a very funny woman. She's also a very funny comedian.
Likewise.
And we'll see you next week when we have some other interesting guests from the American film market will be on the show. Thanks again, and have a safe and pleasant tonight. Well, we're back, and this is the Arianne Camp Show. Thanks for tuning in. We are celebrating Valentine's Day with Marilyn Monroe. As you can see, we are here at a wonderful restaurant with Marilyn Monroe and Joe DiMaggio. The two, in my opinion, the two greatest lovers that ever existed. Except for me and potentially my new boyfriend. So, I also wanted to give a special thanks to... Am I allowed to give a special thanks? Sure. Okay. To John Strasberg, and who grew up as a boy with Marilyn Monroe in his home as she was a student of Lee Strasberg, one of the founders of the Actors Studio, where I was a member for 2 years in New York. And so I want to thank Mr. Strasberg for his training and methodology with method acting, and John Strasberg, his son, for his unique vision and his help with my acting work. I also want to give a special thanks to Charlie Lawton, who is my acting teacher. He's also Al Pacino's acting teacher. And I'm going to... Is this good? Okay. I'm moving around because of my dress is kind of high. Anyway, also, I want to I want to give a special thanks to Elizabeth Kemp of the Actors Studio, who is one of my favorite teachers in the world. And I think I would probably name my first daughter Elizabeth after my wonderful acting teacher, Elizabeth Kemp. And I guess also special thanks to Robin Williams, who I met when I was 4 years old, who influenced my life and touched me with his comedy. And the crew here are laughing, which is good, because they should laugh at least a couple things, even if they're not jokes that I'm telling you. Why? Because we're having a very strange show today. But it's a good show. Because why? It's Valentine's Day. It's a Valentine's Day show. Okay. Also, I want to give special thanks to all of the fine comics that I grew up with. And I think there's some other conversations that seem like they're more important right now. But I'm going to keep going because it's ultimately my show, right? So, let's see. What else? I recently went on an audition. It was very exciting. For a casting call for a project with HBO. And they wanted me to flash my shirt for the audition. And I didn't really know how to prepare for the cold reading. So I thought maybe I should splash cold water all over my shirt. And that way I would be prepared for the cold reading. Obviously, not a very good joke. Not as good as my other jokes. Anyway, I'm going to move around a little bit more here because I think it's a good idea. Let's see. It's really difficult being blonde, and blue-eyed, and with a body like mine in Los Angeles. It's just difficult. Mainly because I get a lot of attention, unwanted attention, from the people that I don't want attention from. And then people that I do want attention from, it's nice when I get that too. So, I guess the topic here is, it's important to love and be loved and share your life with somebody. It can be scary, but it can also be very, very satisfying, rewarding, and a lot of fun. So, my last thing to you is, if you love somebody, then you should really show them. Why? Because these are the important things in life. It's good to have a nice job, nice clothes, a nice family,